Okay, come down. Think about, if you've got both legs on the floor, think about, this is Tadasana, right? If you're standing in Tadasana, do you have this little bit of arch in your lower back? A neutral spine has a little bit of arch in the lower back. So when you do the standing version of this, which is here, you would have a strap, or you could hold your toe if you can get there, and then out to the side, right? Do I want to be, my tendency is to do this, bend my knee and do this, but do I want this posterior tilt? No, I don't want this posterior tilt, right? That's going to take me into the compensation. So if you're on the floor doing this, you still want a little bit of arch in your low back, a neutral arch, not a back bend, a neutral arch. So when you're doing this, you're not really pressing your low back down into the floor. Forgot to say that before she turned the video off. Okay. Everybody come up. Oh, skittle. I was going to show you this too. Well, too late. We'll do that later. So much you can do with this pose on the floor. Okay, virabhadrasana 3. So this is a fairly advanced pose, and I would rarely ever teach this as early in a class as we are doing it in teacher training. But it is here for the specific purpose that Warrior 3 is now the pelvis rolling around the top of the femur instead of the femur rolling in the socket. All right, so I want you to be aware of the difference. And so I want everybody to come up onto your mat. So I would begin teaching this pose as part of gait, okay? as part of a rocking motion. I would start with talking about keeping your hip points facing forward so that when I step here and I lift my back foot, I'm not turning my pelvis, I'm just staying these hip points pointing downward. You can also think pinky toe towards the floor so that there's internal rotation happening in that thigh. Okay, feel that? Grab a block. Put a block in front of you. Remember what we did this morning? We're lifting the foot up over the block. It's like there's something there for me to work toward. I'm taking myself down a little bit farther because I'm trying to get to the block, but I want to do it without turning my pelvis open. Do you remember when you were in Supta Padangusthasana and we were thinking about this? Come out of it, take a break. We were thinking about this leg from the knee reaching into the socket. You could think of the front coming down, coming right up into the hip crease, pull up into the hip crease. That's what's happening in this standing leg. You're thinking, lift this up into the hip crease. Okay? The other leg, when we were here, the one that's down on the floor, you're thinking really long. I want you to imagine that your leg starts right up here, that your leg starts about where the psoas starts. And from here, press that leg long. Right? So that's what we were doing on the floor. Can you find that standing up? So balance, turn on the upper body, Keep the hip points forward. And now, can you think about this leg that's lifted, starting from way up here and all the way, reach all the way through the heel? Did that change? It did for you. Change the shift in your hips. Good. All right, I want you to have 2 blocks. So going at 2 if you don't have to, and come close to the wall. So find a spot at a wall. You might have to move a chair or something else out of the way. No, well, you will feel better if they match.
That's true.
All right, so you're going to stand about a leg length away from the wall. So maybe you measure your leg. Maybe you do this and think, okay, is that gonna work? All right, so I want you to be able to put a leg on the wall and be able to be upright with your foot. Okay. So wherever that place is for you, put your blocks down in front of you, both blocks.
I'll move it.
No, you're good. Yep, just put them down on the floor. And now put one leg up on the wall.
Christina needs a chair.
Huh?
Christina needs a chair. Get a chair?
No, I don't want a chair yet. We'll come there. All right. Can you feel how this is tilted? Really tilted. All right, bring your foot down farther. There you go. Straighten your leg, standing leg. Yeah, you might need to come forward just a little bit. Okay, Valerie, you're really tilted, very tilted here. Get your spine long, that's good. Now, I want you to think, reach from that belly button all the way through the heel into the wall. What would it take for you to lift your hands up off your blocks and keep your foot pressing into the wall?
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's the answer, right? That's the answer. It's like beyond hard.
Yeah. Is it possible?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But if you can't do it, you got no business doing warrior 3 in the middle of the room.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Does that make sense? You can't find the worm. So, yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
All right, so come to your chair, come back to your space, and
balance.
yes, it is balance.
No, I have to balance.
Yes.
I'll be back up there in a second.
Okay.
I gotta do the
Oh,
other side.
yeah. Do the other side if you want to. Sorry, I forgot.
Sorry.
What did you say what did you tell me I had to be able to do?
You have to be able to have your standing leg drawing up into your body and your leg that's out behind you reaching from about your psoas, pressing into the wall and not be hiked up. Valerie, you're hiked up.
One of the reasons this is really hard is because as women we have externally rotated femurs and hips, and we don't engage with the inside quad muscle, that VMO muscle.
Holy God, yowza. So yeah, it's really hard. Okay, so come back to your mat, and I want you to come to the back of your chair. So you're gonna stand with your body facing the back of your chair. Yeah, and get your chair so that if you've got a heavy chair, this is gonna be a little bit harder. Get your chair so that there's not a whole lot of stuff in front of it, and you can push it a little bit. So coming to warrior 1 with your right foot forward, your knee bends, Okay, Valerie, you need to come over away from your mat so that your chair will move forward. There you go. All right. Knee bends, get on railroad tracks so that you can square your pelvis, right? Hip points forward. Hands to the back of your chair, and you're gonna press your chair forward, slide it forward. These heavy ones don't slide easily. Until your weight shifts to the standing leg, and you're gonna lift that standing leg behind you with your hands on the chair. See if you can straighten that standing leg, pull up into the hip socket, reach from the belly button all the way out the opposite hip, and you're in warrior three in a safe way, in a way that doesn't cause you to work dangerously. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Is your head down?
Yes, your head is down. I mean, your head is in line with your spine, so it's not hanging, Valerie.
Okay.
Yes, right there. Good. And you can do this with a chair with your foot on the wall as well. And then you've got the ability to have your arms up because you've got your foot there on the wall, pressing, and you can find this work of pushing into the leg as well as this reach in your arms.
So I want to take a pause, and I know that normally Doreen would not say this, but we're tired, and we're never gonna use the word dangerous
Right.
in class, ever.
I would never say that in a
No.
class. I'm saying it to you
Yeah.
so that you understand what's happening and how you can do this well in a class.
Yeah. So
You
what
would
we're
never-
trying, when we say dangerous, it's like they don't have the strength,
Right.
they don't have the range of motion, and they will hurt themselves to do it because they want it so bad.
Yeah.
So we want to give them steps to get there, to find the strength to do it, and feel safe in the movement. And if we use cues like unsafe, dangerous, hurt yourself, don't do this, then we're putting those things in their head, and they're like, oh God, if I don't do this, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Right? So you as a teacher need to know, but it's not something that's not language that we use in class.
Yeah, so what do you do if you accidentally do that? Like, how do you can't erase that?
No, you
So what's a good way to recover?
followed up with,
Maybe acknowledge a strength.
yeah. Normally I try to not use words like weak. I'm like, it's not as strong. You can follow it up with like, and this is why we're building strength to get there. This is why we want to, this is what we're working on. This is a specific muscle. This is where you could use some improvement to, if you want to get in that pose. Like you follow it up with like, yeah, I said it. And then you could be like, it's not, I mean, it's not, like, point blank, you could say, it's not dangerous. Like, that's, I used the wrong word. That's not a great word to use, because you're not gonna hurt yourself. Remember, there's no bad moment. So let's figure out how to find work in this pose. Just own it.
I think being transparent.
Yeah.
That's it. We did it.
Should we do the other side?
Oh, did you not do the other side? Yes, do the other side.